I'm just working. Who are you again? I'm a civil servant. It's a good question. I am an assistant economist within the civil service, and sorry, I'm just doing some important work. And basically, I do an economic appraisal for any expenditure that's deemed significant within my department. Yeah, I mean, look, it's as interesting as you'd like it to be, really. It's like any job. The thing I find most interesting, honestly, is just the sort of way the government spends their money. I'm in the Department of Education, and I have access to like comprehensive records on the entire expenditure of the department, neatly tabulated in a spreadsheet, which I'm actually looking at right now. I'm doing some work on it. Yeah, but you know, I can't really delve into any specifics in our public knowledge. Some of the expenditure would leave you taken aback though if you did look at it. But again, I've signed the Official Secrets Act or whatever. But what is publicly accessible information though is just how much the government relies on the private sector. The Northern Ireland Civil Service is the largest employer in Northern Ireland, but it doesn't actually do anything. We build nothing. Security at government buildings now is privately owned, is private sector, G4S. And I only found out recently that most general practices, GP practices, are privately owned. Honestly, I think people would be quite upset if they did know how their money was being spent. But as I say, I can't disclose anything. Jesus Christ, forget what I've just said. Look at this one. The department paid for beep.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, good question. I actually have. Yeah, I think about that quite often. But to do that, I would need something like really concrete to bring to the press. There are actually a couple of programs or projects that you could sort of, there's a bit of meat to them, you could bring to the public attention, but I've thought about it and I've not followed through on it because this job is comfortable, but it's also my sole source of income. I require it to secure the calories and nutrients needed to support life for myself and my dog. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. But look, if I spoke up, I'd surely lose my job and starve. So to do it, I would really need some money or not to have basic human needs. So, but as I'm a human, it's simply not possible. But to be fair, if I did have something like what's it called? Something like a basic income that ensured my basic human needs, regardless of my employment status, then I suppose my propensity to be a whistleblower and to take action against my employer would be higher because in that instance, I know I wouldn't starve, but unfortunately that's not the reality. Actually, I have an idea. Next week.
Come on. Hello again, it's you. Yeah, that's a good question. The Nixby party at present, if I'm perfectly honest, is nothing more than an idea. But hopefully with some time it'll be a official political party registered on the electoral register as a political party in Northern Ireland that intends to contest assembly elections. The political ideology of the party is very, very simple. It's in the name, basically, common sense and basic income. The party would define common sense as the political, economic and philosophical theory of employing rationality and objectivity when confronted with information. And the party also defines basic income as a fixed, regular payment given to all citizens, regardless of their income, wealth or employment status, to cover basic human needs. I didn't take you for one of those people, but it's a good question. It's probably a question that needs to be addressed pretty immediately. Fundamentally, it's neither. Anyone can, along the political or social spectrum in Northern Ireland, can join, vote or stand for the party, so long as they agree something like a universal basic income is desirable for us here in Northern Ireland, and we should all advocate for it whilst valuing common sense. Is there anything else? Hello.
Hello there.
Sorry, I am listening. Could I get a vanilla oat milk latte, please?
Of course.
Frost milk? Okay. Thank you. How much is that?
That'll be two. I can hold that for you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. There's three. Keep the change. Have a good day, sir. Thank you.
As well.
Okay. I agree. No, don't apologise. I think you're right. It is an absolutely ridiculous notion, but to me, it's a sign of the times. Yeah, to me, the political sentiment behind the idea is, look, we've all had different childhoods, different upbringings. We've all been subjected to different information within our communities, whatever. So the political sentiment behind the idea is, be nice. If you disagree with someone, have a rational conversation with them as to why you disagree. And I think, as trivial as it sounds, something like common sense, I think it does provide us an avenue to have discussions on finding an answer to this 800-year-old Irish question. So yeah. Yeah. Look, see, when you apply common sense to economics, in my opinion, you come across common sense economics, which to me is an economic theory that states societal progression and economic prosperity should be measured using human-orientated metrics such as the air quality rate, marital rate, suicide rate, home ownership rates, as opposed to what's currently traditionally used in GDP, whatever that is. So whenever you start to measure prosperity of an economy using human-orientated metrics, a policy like basic income would become common sense. We good? Look, without being at risk of repeating myself, basic income is defined by the party as a fixed and regular payment paid to every citizen, regardless of their income, wealth or employment status, to cover their basic human needs. It's a policy that's never been implemented on a nationwide scale, but there have been many pilots and trials done, and it's a policy that's got a lot of attention in the last few years for some very obvious reasons. It's a very complicated idea, but it's also very, very simple. If you want to, you can think about it as universal credit, but you continue to get it if you work. Maybe, but if you think about current arrangements with universal credit, if I'm on universal credit and I work, I forego that payment. So the current system actually places a financial disincentive on the service user to work. I think something like a basic income would create a voluntary economy where we exchange our labour because we want to, not because we need to eat. I don't know. Leave me alone. Oh, you found me? Listen, it's a very reasonable question, but it's a question that I don't actually need to answer. Nixby, in the short to medium term, will advocate for a formless and non-specific basic income, and it does so in an attempt to avoid that exact question. I think most people are unfamiliar with the policy, and once they are made aware and detach the public finance element of reality, in principle they agree with the idea. So once they do that and they realise that it's absolutely inevitable, I think most people in principle agree. I think it's good. Now, if you excuse me, something like a basic income is absolutely inevitable when you...
Hello, Johnny here in post. The original content we filmed that day got a bit out of hand, and the next bit was a touch sporadic and not very well put together in my opinion. In this next part, I was trying to get across what I believe to be a very important message to the audience, and I feel in the way I presented myself during it, it meant that the message would be overridden by thoughts of, holy shit, he's actually mental. So with the aim of being seen as normal, and as of a sound mind, I've decided to narrate this very important message over a loop of me appearing very rational and sensible. So here we go. Okay, so the point I was trying to make, and the key takeaway from the documentary is, basic income in some form is inevitable. With the trajectory of robotics and artificial intelligence, there are no other serious solutions to the consequences of the economic displacement we are about to witness. Various forms of basic income exist, and some are much better than others. The basic income of preference among the existing governments and institutions appears to be something along the lines of a CBDC or a central bank digital currency. In a world where most labour is completed by a robot or an algorithm, the ability to withhold a basic income from a population or an individual grants the government a certain amount of economic leverage. Call me a conspiracy theorist, call me what you like, but I fear that if a basic income is introduced in this way, it will be used by the governing institutions to ensure civil obedience, and in cases of protest or disruption, they may choose to withhold the payment if you're being bold. But don't take my word for it. Literally Google CBDC programmable money and you will see it for yourself. If you're to take anything away from this documentary, or to take anything away from Nixby, let it be that A, basic income in some form is inevitable, and B, when it is inevitably introduced, it should be unconditional. The unconditionality of a Nixby basic income would be stitched, sewn, chiselled and carved into the social contract, and it would be explicitly understood that it would never be taken away from anyone unless it's taken away from everyone. And that's that really. I'll let you get back to the documentary.
Thank you. Now, if you excuse me, I have work to do. Yeah. Honestly, who knows? I have no idea, but I think it's nice to try. I prefer to the alternative of not trying, you know? And look, if nothing else, it'll be a story to tell. Yeah, how could you forget? What a question. Look, in all reality, the money will have to come from somewhere. If we all got together and said, yeah, basic income will be good for me and my community, and then that community said, yeah, it'd be good for me and my community, we all got together. In reality, we're in the UK, so we would need to ask the UK government to fund the basic income. And if they said no, I think the unionists should redo the favour of the nationalists and allow us to have a great big vote. Ranked choice voting, 3 options. First one is remain in the UK without a basic income. The second one is appeal to the Republic of Ireland and the EU for a basic income. And the third one would be a independent 6-county country, state, whatever, with a basic income, with economic, diplomatic relations with the EU, the Republic of Ireland and the UK. So, you know. And whether people go for it or not, I don't know. But I think in the context of Northern Ireland, we could all view our basic income as conflict reparations for the Troubles or whatever. I think that would be a nice end, a nice answer to the question. But as I say, that could just be me. Is that it? Are we done? Thank you. Right, goodbye. Leave me alone.
Right. Next week. We good? I think we got everything.
No.
Nice. That was pretty good, I think. Did we get everything?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay. Let me just think if there's anything else. Yes, I gotta forget. Ooh. And that's it. Thank you. And that's it. Thank you.